feelings that you had when you lost that person. But less commonly, but even more severely, are those kinds of attacks that people have experienced in assaults on themselves, robberies, sexual abuse, physical abuse. When people have had experiences like that, the trauma is recreated when they see something like the attack on the World Trade Center. It is that fear that comes back to them, and they have nightmares again, and they have what we call flashbacks. I want to give you an example of somebody who came to me about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. This is a very interesting experience. This woman comes to my office in 1989, about a month after the Berlin Wall was taken down. She had grown up in Berlin and had gone to she was a nurse who had gone to the Jewish hospital of Berlin to get a training. The funny thing was, when she first came into my office, she says, I know you since you're born. And I look at her like, what are you talking about? She says, well, I was at your birth. I said, at my birth? She said, yes. I was a labor nurse at a hospital called Horace Harding Hospital in Queens, New York, which is now St. John's Hospital. And she said, I worked with your father, and I happened to be the labor nurse when your mother was delivering you. I said, but why are you here? She said, well, I've been experiencing terrible feelings of anxiety and depression in the last month or so. First of all, I received a book from Berlin marking the 50th anniversary of my nursing school class. And I looked through that book, and most of those people in that book were killed during World War II. On top of that, the Berlin Wall came down, and it recreated all the feelings that I had when I was hiding out in Berlin for over 4 years. She and her husband had escaped the Nazis just by chance. Their parents had been taken out of their home, and they were at work. And they decided they have to move, they have to get out. And they went from one person's home to another for 4 years, hiding out and saving their lives. With the Berlin Wall coming down, she kept having visions of the Nazis reoccurring. That they were going to take over again, that Germany was going to be reunited, and that the whole thing would start all over again. This is a classic example of what we call post-traumatic stress disorder. People who experience a trauma. That trauma is of a very serious nature. It's one where they have either actual or threatened death or serious injury. It is a threat to their physical beings or their integrity of themselves. What happens then is that when another trauma occurs, when that feeling comes back, they re-experience the original trauma. They re-experience it with nightmares, dreams, flashbacks. They try to avoid the stimulus